Before we begin, remember that this video is for educational purposes only and isn't financial or real estate advice. Always consult licensed professionals. Let's break down a real estate topic that can save or cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Most people buy rental properties based on a feeling or a rough estimate, but that's how you end up with a money pit. Today, I'm going to show you the exact framework pros use to strip away the emotion and see if a property actually makes money. We'll cover the math, the hidden costs, and the red flags that most beginners miss. Alright, let's start with the real-world problem. You see a listing that looks great, but you need a way to filter it quickly before spending hours on deep research. The 1% rule is a quick filter to see if a property's rent is high enough relative to its price. Ideally, the monthly rent should be at least 1% of the total purchase price. If a $200,000 house only rents for $1,000, it's likely a cash flow loser. Use this only as a first-stage filter to discard bad deals quickly. GRM helps you compare properties in the same neighborhood by looking at the price divided by the annual gross rent. It ignores expenses for a moment just to see how the market is pricing the income. A lower GRM generally means a better deal, but be careful of cheap properties in high-crime areas. Always compare a property's GRM to the neighborhood average. NOI is the heartbeat of your investment because it shows what the property earns after all operating expenses, but before the mortgage. You calculate this by taking your total income and subtracting taxes, insurance, and maintenance. This number tells you how hard the actual real estate is working for you, independent of your loan terms. This is the metric that matters most to your bank account because it measures the actual return on the cash you personally invested. If you put down $50,000 and make $5,000 in profit after the mortgage, that's a 10% return. This helps you decide if your money is better off in real estate or the stock market. Now that the math looks okay on paper, we have to account for the unseen costs that catch most new investors off guard. A property is rarely occupied 100% of the time, so failing to budget for vacancy is a huge mistake. Most pros set aside 5% to 10% of the rent every month into a reserve fund. This ensures that when a tenant leaves and you spend a month painting and marketing, your mortgage is still covered. CapEx refers to big-ticket items like a new roof, HVAC system, or water heater that eventually wear out. You shouldn't wait for the roof to leak to find the money. Instead, save a small portion of rent every month specifically for these future replacements. This prevents a $10,000 repair from wiping out 2 years of profit. Even if you plan to manage the property yourself, you should always include a management fee in your analysis. Typically, this is about 8% to 12% of the monthly rent. If the deal doesn't work with a management fee included, you don't own an investment. You've just bought yourself a low-paying job. Quick reminder, real estate markets and mortgage programs vary by location, so always verify with local professionals. You can change the house, but you can't change the location. Let's look at how to evaluate the neighborhood like a professional. Investors categorize areas into A, B, C, and D classes based on risk and reward. Class A is luxury and low risk, but low cash flow, while Class C or D offers higher potential returns, but much higher management headaches. Most long-term investors look for B neighborhoods, solid, working-class areas with stable tenants. Never buy in a town that relies on a single employer, like a factory or a single hospital. If that employer leaves or downsizes, your tenant pool may improve and property values may change. Look for cities with diverse industries such as tech, healthcare, and education to ensure long-term rental demand. Don't trust the Zestimate or the landlord's word on what the rent should be. Look at actual active listings on sites like Zillow or Rentometer to see what similar homes are actually renting for today. Be honest about your property's condition. If it's dated, you can't charge the same as the renovated house down the street. Before you sign anything, you need to know if the building itself is a ticking time bomb. Here's what to look for. Look for large cracks in the basement walls or doors that won't shut properly, as these are signs of foundation shifting. Check that the ground slopes away from the house to prevent water from pooling against the walls. Foundation repairs can easily exceed $20,000, so if you see issues, call a structural engineer immediately. Always check the age of the furnace, the AC unit, and the roof. If they're over 15–20 years old, you need to budget for their replacement in your first few years of ownership. Also, peek at the electrical panel. If you see old knob and tubes wiring or a recalled brand like Federal Pacific, it may be uninsurable. In older homes, tree roots can grow into the main sewer line, causing thousands of dollars in damage that you can't see from the surface. Always pay for a sewer scope, a camera inspection of the line during your due diligence. It costs a few $100s, but can save you from a $15,000 pipe replacement. You've done the math and checked the house. Now, how do you pull the trigger with confidence? Never waive your right to an inspection just to get a deal accepted. The inspection period is your get-out-of-jail freeze card if the pro finds major issues you missed. Use the inspection report to either ask the seller for a price reduction or to walk away entirely if the repairs are too extensive. A pro always knows how they'll get out of the deal before they get in. Could you sell this to another investor later, or is it a house that a family would want to buy and live in? Having a property that appeals to both retail buyers and investors gives you the most flexibility when it's time to sell. That's the practical version of what matters most. The big idea is to understand the math, account for the hidden costs, and never skip the professional inspections. Analyzing a property isn't about finding a perfect house, it's about finding a house where the numbers and the risks are manageable. If this helped, like and subscribe for more practical guides that help you compare costs, understand quotes, and choose the right property with more confidence. Check out Reledemy for more resources to help you on your journey. Always consult a licensed professional before making property decisions. Thanks for watching. Remember, this is educational content only. Consult a licensed real estate agent or mortgage broker before making property decisions. Subscribe for more.